GM, and welcome back to the channel for another update on Bitcoin and Solana. It's currently Wednesday, the 10th of April. The main focus of today is the fact that Bitcoin and Solana absolutely need to hold these very crucial levels. But before we talk about those, let's quickly dive into the news. Now, Solana is still extremely congested. Putting through a transaction is a little bit of a pain in the ass right now. But while we are waiting for the timely vote credits proposal, which we talked about in yesterday's video, I would like to remind you that Solana is going to have a second validator coming at the end of this year / early 2025. This is going to be the Fire Dancer validator, which will focus on increasing the network's throughput, resilience, efficiency, and speed. This, in my opinion, is going to be the catalyst we're waiting for to push Solana up to $1,300. Now, I have been trying to mine ore, but because the network's so congested on Solana, it's a little bit difficult to do this right now. We briefly talked about this yesterday. Ore is the first proof of work contract on Solana, which is very, very interesting. In some ways, it's meant to emulate Bitcoin. I would just like to say round about this price target, $290. I do think this could potentially be a good position for the long term. In other news, it looks like Solana Chapter 2 pre-order holders are winning once again. If you had pre-ordered your Solana Chapter 2 prior to March the 28th, then you're eligible to claim the WAF airdrop. Unfortunately, this wasn't airdropped, you have to go and claim it, but considering Solana Mobile has retweeted it, I think it's legitimate. Once again, a little bit of a network congestion right now. I have been trying to claim mine, but it's not going through right now, so just keep on trying and keep on pushing it through. The airdrop is roughly about $25, so nothing crazy, but free money. And if you're wondering why it was an airdrop to 100,000 people, it's likely because if you are doing an airdrop, you have to pay for a large amount of gas fees per user. So times that gas fee by 100,000. This company obviously didn't want to pay that, so they want us to pay the gas fee to claim the token. It is what it is, kind of annoying, but free money is free money. So once again, make sure you pre-order the Solana Mobile while it's still $500 before they increase the price. I'm probably going to say this every single video. You're probably going to get sick of me saying this, but I'm going to keep on saying this. I'm going to keep on covering all of the airdrops that happen on the Saga 2. So I just think it's a no-brainer, easiest way to just autopilot free money in this cycle, other than staking Solana. So if you want to get a Chapter 2, be sure to use my referral code for that down in the description down below, and also be sure to start mining grass. My referral code for this will be down in the description as well. These are just easy, free ways that you can continually ensure that you are getting free money on Solana other than staking. In other news, one of my favorite meme coin projects, Chunky, they have now come out on their merch store with the Chunky plushie. Now, I pre-ordered the Chunky plushie and the accessory pack within the first 10 minutes. I'll just show you the quality of this merch. It looks really, really great. I do feel like Chunky is one of the most undervalued tickers on Solana at this moment in time, and for a blue chip meme coin, these people really seem to be building and knowing what they're doing. So if you want to get the merch, just head over to Chunky's Twitter and then follow their website link. Not normally something I cover, but I wanted to talk about this new NFT project, which I've just seen. Now, if you remember Milady's on ETH, one of the most popular collections on ETH right now, they've basically got a spin-off Solana collection at this moment in time called Retardio Cousins. This is basically the retarded cousin of Milady's on Solana. I really like the artwork on this. None of this is financial advice. They've got a pretty big community on Twitter, and I just really like these profile pics. I think the accounts that have Milady's are normally rich degens over on Twitter, so I feel like this just expands that community a little bit more. It is a little bit of an exclusive collection considering it's priced around about 9 Solana right now, which is $1,600, so some people might be priced out of this, but I personally think if you can get it, it is quite cool. Either way, this is the one that I purchased. I got one with a nice rare background, and it's now my new Twitter profile pic. Either way, just putting this on your radar because I think this is cool and deserves some attention. Now let's move on to the Bitcoin and macro news. I just want to quickly start off with the macro news because we did have the CPI come out hotter than expected. US CPI year over year was previously coming in at 3.2%. It increased all the way up to 3.5, forecast for 3.4, so higher than forecast and higher than the previous month. US core CPI came in at 3.8%, the exact same reading as the previous month. However, this was higher than forecast. So if you're wondering why Bitcoin and equities are taking quite a hit today, this is one of the main reasons, other than the fact that this was already the base trend. Anyway, moving on to the Bitcoin news for the daily Bitcoin ETF flows. Remember, I cover this daily over on my Twitter, so be sure to follow me at 618_cowboy. The main takeaway from yesterday's ETF flows on the 9th of April were that there were hardly any positive inflows, but there was enough from IBIT to remain relatively neutral. GBTC sold $154.9 million and IBIT bought $128.7 million. So cumulative flows are relatively neutral, but they are still in bearish territory. Let's quickfire the other two stories. Grayscale's CEO says that their Bitcoin ETF outflows are reaching equilibrium, and Hong Kong is set to approve its first spot ETFs in April, some sources say. And of course, wrapping up the news, we are now 8 days away from the Bitcoin halving. So let's talk about these key levels you want to keep your eyes on for Bitcoin and Solana. Now, first of all, starting off with Bitcoin, we've been talking about this in the past couple of videos, saying this was not a good look with this swing failure pattern above both this diamond top formation or asymmetrical triangle breakout, depending on which kind of chart you were looking at. First of all, starting off with the diamond top formation, you can see once again, swing failure pattern on the 4-hour time frame. It looks like the EMAs are about to fire a bearish signal. And as we discussed in the previous video, whenever you have a swing failure pattern above a diamond top formation, you're about 95% likely to come back down to the bottom of the trend at 66,700. Nothing has changed from the previous video. If we're coming over to our second chart, you can see pretty much the exact same price target, 66,700 approximately. If you are looking at this as a asymmetrical triangle, we're now back in the triangle. However, the diamond top formation looks pretty defined to me, and once again, this is a bearish topping formation which typically forms after a sharp rally to the upside and calls for a correction. So in short, Bitcoin needs to hold this level around about 66,700. Otherwise, we're probably going to come back down to the base of this trend at 60,000. This is what I've been talking about in the higher time frames for my most recent videos. If we come over and look, this was really my base prediction. Not an overly bearish one, about a 10% drop from where we are right now, but more or less, once again, I remain neutral for the next week or two coming into the halving, and then I think we're ready to take that explosive move to the upside. Now let's load this chart back up and come over to the daily time frame. I do once again want to highlight on the 4-hour, EMA ribbons are flipping bearish. We're likely to move back down to 66,600. On the daily, the stochastic RSI is turning to the downside, and you can see right now we are sitting right on the verge of a retest of the 50 TMA at 67,100. So some very important levels between 67,000 and 66,600. You really want to hold these levels. If you don't, and you start moving underneath these levels, you're going to get a short confirmation on the 50 TMA. If we do something like this, break beneath the diamond top formation, break beneath the asymmetrical triangle, we're going to have all sorts of short confirmations firing from EMAs, 50 TMA strategy, stochastic RSI, breakdown from asymmetrical triangles, and breakdowns from diamond top formations. Now, the diamond top formation breakdown target is going to be taking us down to 54,400. I personally don't think that will hit. Once again, 60,000 is my prediction. Just putting the target on your radar. So once again, guys, like I've been saying for the past week or so, I remain neutral coming into the halving. Not overly bullish, not overly bearish. I think mostly it's going to be sideways to 60,000 and then up. In terms of Solana, where's the level we need to hold? Well, this is where things get shaky. We are at that level right now. If we come over to the weekly time frame, you can see from the high down to the low. Let's move back over to the log. We are right on this level. It's the 618 Fibonacci at $165. And if we come over to the daily time frame, you can see why this is even more significant. Not only is this the macro 618 Fibonacci, this is also a retest at this very moment in time on the 50 TMA strategy. If we do get a bearish confirmation with a daily candle body close beneath $165, it is not going to be looking good whatsoever. Now, we previously drew this out as the first region of support. We said if we do manage to hold 165, we can expect much higher price targets, but I do want to once again reiterate, if we do not manage to hold 165, we may be moving down to as low as $145, which is this macro point of interest right here, 145, or potentially as low as this macro point of interest, which was this previous high back in December of 2023 at $127. Now, personally, like I've been saying, I want to take things one level at a time. I'm going to see how 165 holds up. If we manage to hold above it, so be it. But if we do close beneath 165, we're going to have a lot of short confirmations from EMA ribbons, from 50 TMA strategies, from the 618 macro fib level, and it's not going to be looking good. So in my opinion, between $165, if we do lose that level, keep your eyes on 145 because that's where we're likely to head down to next. Anyway guys, those are the levels you want to keep your eyes on. That's the news for today. I do want to add a quick message at the end. Do not be shaken out in the lower time frames. And remember that these bearish price predictions / neutral price predictions, which I've been talking about for the next week or two, these are extremely healthy. Having a correction coming into the halving, resetting momentum. These moves are designed to shake out the weak hands. If you sell now, you're going to be selling to someone else who's buying a discount, and you'll probably be buying back from them when the rally starts again. So just be cautious. Once again, don't let these moves shake you out, because I do think Bitcoin is going to be heading up to $160,000 this cycle, and I think Solana is probably going to head up to $1,000 to $1,300 this cycle. So these moves are very healthy. In fact, if we're looking at the ETH fractal, overlaying Ethereum's previous bull run fractal in the last cycle on Solana, you can see round about this time in the cycle is when Ethereum had a correction, and it lasted, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of sideways choppiness, and then it was just pretty much an explosion to the upside. We've already topped out and had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of sideways / down. So I really do think, once again, the next 2 weeks are going to be a little bit down / neutral. And then after the halving, after we shake out the weak hands, it is going to be up. And everyone who faded this breakdown, everyone who said, oh, it's over, they're going to regret it. So that's all I've got for today, guys. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash like on the way out. I'll see you soon. Peace.